My name is Nicole Smoot, and this SLP was a focus on teacher empowerment. Research shows that teacher empowerment is where teachers feel that they have autonomy, status, can have impact, self-efficacy, professional growth, and decision-making. So those were all key areas that I wanted to be intentional about providing in this SLP. This SLP was currently held at EB Aycock Middle School, which is located in Pitt County Schools. It was established in 1969, where we serve grades 6 through 8. Our enrollment this year is a little over 650, and I serve as the instructional coach here at EBA. A brief overview of this SLP is that teachers were going to be creating EOG review plans, which are plans that begin 10 weeks before the EOG, where teachers utilize various data points to reteach, remediate, and review skills and standards before the beginning of the EOG testing at the end of the year. All of our core content areas were to create pacing guides in order to assist them with time management before the initial teaching of the standards in order to get them time for EOG review. Every core content was required to create a review plan, even if they are not a tested subject in middle grades, such as 7th grade science. The focus of this SLP was to empower teachers in the creation of their EOG review plans by building their capacity in understanding and data analysis in order to review and remediate standards. You may be wondering why EOG review plans for an SLP, especially one focused on teacher empowerment. There are a variety of reasons. One, our county requires teachers to create and implement EOG review plans. We have a lot of BTs at EBA who have never done an EOG review plan. And our veteran teachers in the building were feeling very overwhelmed and needed additional support to help them in their support of the BTs. Furthermore, we wanted to collaborate with our teachers to support the creation and implementation of the EOG review plans, especially since our school is designated as low performing. For all of these reasons, we decided that my SLP should focus on the EOG review plans to help our teachers build capacity. For this SLP, it began back in January, where I met with our administration to determine what we should do moving forward. Pacing calendars were created, and we changed our PLC meeting day for our ELA PLC. In February, I began compiling potential resources for all content areas, even those that are not EOG tested, such as social studies. I also worked with PLCs to help them in their creation of the EOG review plans. Moving on in March, we started the actual implementation of EOG review plans across the school. They made adjustments as needed based on data, and the weekly PLC meetings continued. The weekly PLC meetings are continuing in April, where teachers are continuing to make adjustments as needed to their EOG review plans. They're collecting data for each week's assessment and remediating as needed based on that data. In May, we will have teachers begin making daily plans for their EOG review versus their weekly plans, where they will be able to use these plans in place of their actual current lesson plans. Then we will actually begin EOG testing, where we will hopefully see an increase in growth and an increase in proficiency. While teachers must strive towards excellence, providing them the tools to succeed is an essential component of their growth and development as professionals. Keeping this in mind, as the IC and the one that was going to be supporting our PLCs with their implementation and creation of their EOG review plans, I wanted to be intentional in the tools and resources that I provided to them so that they felt like they were able to be successful in the creation of their EOG review plans. Bearing in mind, these were some changes that were made to help us support them. Pacing guides were required to be made for the remainder of the year. The purpose of this was so our teachers could be provided with time management to ensure that they were able to do the initial teaching of all standards and still have time for their EOG review. ELA PLC meetings were moved to Wednesdays, while math remained to meeting on Thursdays. The purpose of this was to allow me, the IC, to attend more PLC meetings to provide support versus jumping from one PLC to another each week. And then our Science Social Studies PLC meetings had an AP in their meeting on Thursdays. The purpose of this was to allow for additional support for those PLCs as well, since I, as the IC, could not be in those PLC meetings as I was in math on Thursdays. I wanted to make sure that I was providing resources for all of our content areas: math, ELA, science, and social studies. Some of these resources include test specifications, release tests, iReady assessments, study island standard alignments, videos, and Canvas modules. I made sure to have everything organized within the drive and made it available to our teachers. I provided this to our teachers where all they had to do was click on their file cabinet, click on their grade level, and then open up their folder. When they did this, they were given a variety of resources that they could implement and use when they were creating their EOG review plans. Various things from their EOG release test from NCDPI, iReady options, maneuvering the middle options, study island, Canvas, and then even videos that were made available. I wanted to make sure that I was providing as much as I could to our teachers so that way they could have options in what they would like to choose to implement for their grade level and their content. They know their students best. Bearing in mind that they did not have to utilize these resources, but majority of them did use these and only these. They shared that they used these resources because everything was in a one-stop shop and they preferred to utilize these resources over others that they had found themselves. Here are some examples of some of the finalized EOG review plans. Here's a 6th grade ELA, 7th grade science, and 8th grade math. All of these were created by the teachers where they had their own assessments focusing on their major and minor standards for that week, various resources that were linked in, and then the assessment with their prediction and outcome. The outcomes from this SLP were that all content areas did submit their EOG review plans on time, and they started their implementation on March 20th as planned, which is exactly 10 weeks from the beginning of our EOG testing. We are hopeful that we will be able to meet our proficiency goals for this year, allowing us to exceed growth as a school. In speaking with teachers, individually and PLCs as a whole, they have shared that they appreciate the intentional support that was being provided during PLCs and that I'm continuing to provide, which allowed them to feel empowered in the creation and implementation of their EOG review plans. By providing potential resources and PLC support to our teachers during the creation and implementation of their EOG review plans, they have been given the opportunity to impact student learning through their autonomy and decision-making, leading to the strengthening of their self-confidence and self-efficacy. These EOG review plans are an example of how a little progress each day adds up to big results.